Hey there everyone, happy Tuesday. I'm King 5 Meteorologist Adam Claibon. Here we go into Tuesday night, and guess what? Behind me, you can see it right here, that is blue. We're going to be out of our first alert mode here heading through the night and into the day tomorrow. Temperatures will be noticeably cooler, but still on the warm side in a few spots as we're calling for 80s. But this time around, we're talking about low 80s and probably more of those upper 70s. Another thing, yeah, the heat is gone, but guess what? Today, also, our 8 p.m. sunsets, they will be leaving us. 8 p.m. today on Tuesday is the last 8 p.m. sunset of the year. We'll see it at 7:58 heading into Wednesday evening, and then back into the 6 p.m. hour heading into September the 28th. You can see at 6:53. Going to lose about an hour here as we go on over the next month. All right, let's take a look at those temperatures. They have dropped from at this point yesterday. Again, not a drastic change, but down by about 3, 4, 5 degrees across the area. Definitely welcomed and definitely noticeable, especially across the eastern side of the state. Leavenworth and Wenatchee down by about 8 to 11 degrees. And we were nowhere near any of the record highs for today. We saw highs up around more the mid to upper 80s. Olympia, one of the hotter spots at 89, but the record was at 95 degrees. So well away from that in Bellingham. We just barely got into 80 degrees. All right, so here's your forecast. Here over the next 7-day stretch, no red popping up, but some pretty warm temperatures for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday in the low to mid 80s. Could even be a few showers and storms out there. We're going to talk about that and also what's ahead for the upcoming holiday weekend, as we do have a chance of showers in the forecast around that point too. Nothing going to be too widespread and probably shouldn't be anything that's going to disrupt any of your outdoor plans as we head on into that point. All right, up this way around Paradise could be one of the spots that gets in on a little storm action here as we go throughout more of the day tomorrow, maybe Thursday too. Port Angeles, we'll see if we get any of those chances around, but I think generally we're going to keep things dry there. Up around Granite Falls at some point could see some rain falling from the sky, but shouldn't be a whole lot. And then down this way around Tacoma, some gloomy, sort of also dreary and very smoky looking skies. We do have that haze in the sky, and that's going to be sticking with us at least for a little while before we get some stronger onshore winds to really push that out of here. Everett, a lot of haze in the sky there too, but also pretty clear and sunny. And then looking here at our Seattle camera, those clouds streaming across the sky from the moisture that we have heading in from the south. We're at 85 with west winds coming in at 9 miles per hour. That's a cool down. Thankfully, we do have a little more moisture in the atmosphere too. So as far as the fire potential, it's still there, but not quite as high. We're going to drop through the 80s, through the 70s, and it looks like many of us are still going to be in the 60s around Puget Sound, but still expecting a pretty warm start in some spots, 50s outside of there. Temperatures here as we head on into the evening, still holding on to the 80s in a few spots. 90s down that way around Puyallup and closer to Olympia. And the storm activity, you can see that down across more of the South Cascades. Big picture is, though, you can see all the moisture that's off to the south and east of us. That's where the majority of it will stay. We're not going to get in on a lot of it, but I wanted to point out what's happening here as we head on into the evening, this evening. Some of the shower and storm activity completely disappears. Then we'll head into the day tomorrow. You'll start to see some of these clouds beginning to find their way back across the area. Then we have this line of moisture that's going to be around. Depends on where exactly we're looking at as far as some of those showers and storms, but it will be around those spots right there that we have maybe the highest chance. And at some point, this line will develop just a bit more. But that one right there, that's going to be moving northward as we go into the latter part of Wednesday and into Wednesday night. And you'll see that move northward again. Near and north of Seattle, we'll see exactly where it sets up. But it is going to start to bring in a chance of rain, some showers and storms, especially across more of the higher terrain. And we'll keep that around into early Thursday morning across more of northwest interior. As we continue on, you'll see that it's continued to spin over more of the Olympic Peninsula and over the Olympics. And then it spins its way on out of here. We'll get a little more onshore push. And by the time we head on into the weekend, that's when we start to see things cool down just a bit more. Rainfall amounts with this, don't get too excited. Maybe between 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch for those of us who do see measurable rainfall. And then continuing on here into the upcoming holiday weekend. Here Saturday morning at 7:30, you can see that low just off of the coast beginning to spin its way back into the picture for us. We'll see a few of those showers around for Saturday, maybe Sunday. Monday, though, is looking like it's a dry day across most spots here in the Pacific Northwest, and especially as you head farther to the south. And as far as our temperatures, they do start to fall at that point, going from the 80s back down into the 70s over Saturday and Sunday. And then as we continue on into next work week, we are going to see those temperatures back around the lower 80s, but the high heat, it's gone, at least for right now. Lows, a lot of us still holding on to the low 60s around the Kitsap Peninsula and more Puget Sound tonight, but outside of there, we are getting back more of the 50s. And then highs tomorrow getting up to 76 in Bellingham, 72 in Orcas Island. Still hitting 80, it looks like, around Mount Vernon and down this way around Marysville and Monroe. We'll get up to 75 in Clinton, Coopville up to 73. Low 80s around Shoreline, Renton up to 77. Bremerton hitting 76 degrees. And down this way around Tacoma and Puyallup, mid to upper 70s with highs around some of the same marks there. Down around Centralia, down to Longview. The coast, 60s for highs with areas just a little farther inland. Maybe seeing a few 60s, but up that way around Lake Crescent and Port Angeles, we'll get up to about 70 degrees. All right, here's your 7-day forecast. We'll see things become a lot more comfortable here over the next few days. The warmest day is expected to be heading into Friday, so we top off at 85 degrees, but we'll keep an eye out for the warm day there, but also some of the shower chances that we're going to have over the next few days, primarily into the latter part of Wednesday night, and early into Thursday. All right, well, we made it through this hot stretch, everyone. Things finally beginning to cool down. Try to see if you can open up those windows and let some of the cooler air in. Have a terrific Tuesday. We'll talk to you soon.